evening from Hamburg. My name is Kai-Mickael Schmuck and I'm a marketing consultant in Germany. I work with Elaine Zueli since a few years now, and we have been focused in a few projects on building collaborative environments for companies using the technology of Second Life. Unfortunately, I'm not able to do my presentation live. When you hear this, I'm already on vacation in Italy, hopefully. So I recorded my presentation and I hope you enjoy. The title of my presentation is What Means a Digital Identity in a Virtual World? When Elaine asked me to join this conference, it was more or less the first time that I thought about digital identities in a closer way. Of course, I use my own digital identity every day, but I never thought about it. So the first thing I did before I started to create my presentation was a little research in the internet. I was interested in the question, what are they talking about when they talk about digital identity? And of course, this was the first I found. And it's true because when you interact with someone in the cyberspace, you don't know who it really is, and you hope it's not a dog. And besides that, you also never know what all the dogs are doing with their computer during they interact with you. Hopefully, they don't use it like this. My first impression was that when they talk about digital identity, data security, the protection of your data, is more or less the most important thing at all. But it isn't. As you can see in this wordle I found, it is much more than this. Data security is only even an important, but it's only a part of the whole thing. And by the way, don't ask me why also the term Microsoft is in this graphic, but I'm sure it means something. Okay, I don't want to go very deep in that subject now. I just want to repeat some things. In the sociology view, the term identity always sees a person as a part of a society. Besides the I, the consciousness of his independence, there is always a we in the sense of group membership. The classical identity of a person includes characteristic, attributes and preferences. Characteristics are criteria like the height, the weight, the color of the eyes, the signature, things you normally never change, and even if, then you change it very slowly. Attributes, however, distinguish themselves by the fact that the person, unlike the characteristics, has to acquire them first, and they can change over time every now and then. Attributes describes information such as addresses, bank details, email addresses, or memberships and customer relationships. Preferences representing the preferences of an entity, for example for a particular payment, purchased products and brands or genres in literature, music and film. And even if you can transfer these three things to a digital identity, the digital identity only needs attributes and preferences to authenticate a person very precise and to delimit them from others. Because this is the main goal when we are talking about digital identity in business. Amazon wants to make sure that they don't sell a book to a dog. And if they do, they have to ensure that the dog has a bank account. So back to the title of this presentation. I wanted to talk about the digital identity in a virtual world and what it needs. So let me give you a short overview of what we did in a project for Électricité de France recently. Sorry. EDF asked us if it's possible to use a virtual world as a collaborative platform for virtual meetings. So we developed a place for them in Second Life where they can work, meet and share information as well, with all benefits like cost and time efficiency. By the way, EDF spent several million euro a year for internal meetings. It was unbelievable when I heard this. And of course they wanted to protect the environment. So this environmental protection is always an issue when you talk about green IT or something like this. So here you can see what we did on the EDF Sim. And you can feel it by yourself when you look around where you are now. And when you look at it, you can see it one very important thing. It looks very real. We didn't give them a website to do their virtual meetings. It was possible, you can do a lot of things. A Second Life sim is not used as you normally use a webcast or a video conference tool. It feels real because it's a copy of the real world, and this is very important, it's immersive. So after building the environment with meeting rooms, offices and auditoriums, the next step was to create avatars for them so they can use the sim. In a virtual world, it's the basic thing that you have an avatar. And that was our simple plan, just to create avatars they can use. We predefined them, offered them a few male and female avatars, and gave them a name and a password. And that's all they need. At least we thought so. Because this is what they felt we did. When you look at this picture, you know what I mean. I remember when we trained the members of EDF in Paris to show them how to use the functionality and features in Second Life, this was, after a short time, the most important question at all. How can I change my nose? And this we totally underestimated, because the sim we built looked like a copy of the real world. And in this real world, they didn't want to look like a newbie or like a sheep. They interact in it like they interact in real. They talk with their own voice. They even behave like they normally behave in real. And they did so because the Second Life sim is totally immersive. So it became more and more important how they look like. The look was suddenly a part of their identity. The avatar became a digital me, the representation of themselves in a virtual world. And they were able to personalize their avatars in the way they wanted, and they did. And as you can see in this little statistics here, the visual look of an avatar is the most important criteria for the digital me. You see, 55% concentrates on the visual look. So what we actually did was we created a digital me. And similar to the identity from the sociology view, the characteristics, the visual look takes part again of the digital identity, next to the attributes and the preferences.